every achievement, there's a journey filled with lessons, courage, and connection. This show isn't about filters, highlights, or titles. It's about the real stuff, the risk, the growth, and the relationships that shape who we become. Because success isn't just what you do, it's who you are beyond the bio. All right, well, welcome to this episode of Beyond the Bio with Tara the Connector. And I have one of our first Wayne County Real Producers covers, Erik Wright with Social House Group, who's joining us today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So quick intro on Erik. Erik is the broker and owner of Social House Group. He's known for building more than just a brokerage. He's built a culture rooted in community, leadership, and long-term vision. From being featured on the first Wayne County Real Producers cover to launching a new office in Plymouth, today's conversation goes beyond milestones to explore the person behind the role. So thanks for joining again.
Thanks for having me. I'm pumped to be here.
And real quick, this episode is sponsored by DFCU Financial. So Erik, I know we met back in, I think, 2018,
Yeah,
probably.
That was on the, I think, May 2019 cover. So
Yes. And you were fairly new into real estate at that time.
it was right when I was starting Social House. So I had been in the business, I think, like 4 or 5 years
Okay.
at that point. I got into it 2014, so.
Yeah. And it was, being so new in the industry and starting Social House, what kind of dive in? What led you to start Social House?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing, kind of similar to when I got into the business in 2014. I talked to just about every brokerage and didn't really see anything that fit the mold of what I was hoping to create for myself, and ran into the same issues, 5 years later when I started my brokerage, in that I really didn't want to start a brokerage, in all honesty. My plan was not to build a brokerage. I really just needed to build systems around myself to help my own business grow. It was kind of the back end logic behind starting the brand, and I'm huge on branding. So I hit a point in my career where I think I sold just under 100 homes in 2018. And I was a one-man show. I was doing all my marketing, all my showings, closings, everything, start to finish, all my transaction coordination. I didn't have any help. And so it got to a point where I was working 15 hours a day, 100 plus hours a week. And I was just like, the money was great, but I just had no time. It was starting to wear on me, and I knew I needed to build systems if I wanted to continue to grow. And I'm competitive, so naturally I wanted to do that. And so for me, the logical next step after talking to other brokerages and see if there was a platform I could basically just go plug into, I didn't really find anything that had the wherewithal around social media that I was hoping to find. And so I just said, hey, let's give myself another challenge. That's really what it was. I needed to kind of test myself again. And it's been like one of the biggest challenges of my life, but it's been super fun. So it really just came out of necessity and lack of what I was looking for in the market at the time.
So as far as the systems that you didn't find at other places and that you have at Social House, and I from what I've always known about you is you've always been big into Facebook ads and branding. So what types of systems have you developed over at Social House for the people that are part of your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that was lacking for me, like transaction coordinator, all that stuff is pretty universal. It's pretty easy to systematize and implement no matter where you're at. For me, it really was rooted in the strategies, where every brokerage that I went to sit down with and said, hey, if I want to grow my business, what do you suggest? And at the time, literally every single one of them was, SOI, meaning like your sphere of influence, your friends and family, just hope for more referrals. And I wanted something that was more controllable and actionable. And so when it comes to systems, I tell all of our agents all the time, I'm your guinea pig. Like, my job as your broker isn't just support. It's to test out what's working, what's not working continuously, so that we're the brokerage that's setting the standard rather than trying to catch up and follow somebody else's lead. And so the systems were really rooted in just simplifying the social media stuff. Like, for instance, we have like a full-time video editor. We have a social media manager that posts a lot of stuff for them. And that's where I tend to find a lot of people fall off, is when they're inundated with tasks to do that are more administrative. It's a lot easier to just stop doing it. And so we built a lot of our systems on essentially focusing and honing in on, like, if you were an agent at Social House, Tara's brand. like your brand is the most important brand at Social House. It's not Social House. So how can I remove you from the equation as much as possible? Meaning the stuff you have to do every day to give you a good system and process, and also know what to do on social media, where most people, they're just guessing. And when you're guessing and you're not seeing results, you're going to quit doing it before it starts to work anyways.
Right.
So that's where I come in to be able to say, hey, I know this works. Here's what you do. And here's the expectations of how long it's going to take. But once it does start working, it's just like, you can't turn it off.
So you coach your people on what to do, how to do it, and you have a team, it sounds like, to help them.
Exactly. Yeah. So like everything I'm telling our agents to do, I'm doing myself.
Love it.
There's nothing that I'm telling you to go do that I'm not practicing at the exact same time or have already proven it out to say, hey, this works really well. You need to start doing this.
Now, when did you see the shift as to how much your business increased from doing stuff on social media, from promoting your business and your listings? When was that shift? And tell me more about that.
Yeah, it was about a year in. So
okay.
I got into real estate because I saw opportunity on social media. So it wasn't, I discovered social media after being in real estate. It was, I worked at a direct mail, like, company. I was a data analyst. And so I was seeing how much money was being poured into these direct mail flyers. I was seeing the lack of return on investment that I thought people should see. But at the same time, that kind of piqued my interest into real estate because I saw how much money these people were spending on direct mail, and they kept doing it. So I was like, they got to be getting something out of it.
Yeah.
But that was at the time when social media was starting to kind of come about. And so that's where kind of I was like, okay, this light bulb went off. I was like, let's just try to pay my student loans off, And so I started doing different things here and there on social media. I was dead broke. So it's not like I had a bunch of money to throw into ads. So I started out spending like $3 to $5 a day, 3 to 5, not 35, $3 to $5 a day. So like maybe $100 a month. And it took really almost a year before I really got traction. I got licensed in, I think it was September of 2013 or maybe September 2014. I don't remember. 2013 or 2014.
Internet was around back then?
Yeah, right. That was like pre-revenue for Facebook. They weren't really generating any ad revenue or anything. They had just started. And so I got into it. I sold my first house from Facebook like 3 months after getting my license.
Oh.
And then I sold 0 homes for 8 months.
Oh, wow.
But once month, like it was almost month 12 because I got licensed in September. This was in August of 2024, I want to say. I ended up selling like 6 homes that month. And I made more money that month than I made in my 9 to 5 the whole year. And so that's where I was like, okay, I knew this was going to work just because of Gary Vee. Like Gary Vee was my kind of like my guide through it all.
Okay.
He's a awesome social media guy if you don't follow him already. But so after that year, and it kind of like I got that first like gratification of like, okay, this is working. Then I just started going all in and started spending a lot more. I was in debt because everything I was making, I was just reinvesting into real estate. But then after a year, I went from like 2.2 million to 3.6 million year 2. And then year 3, when I quit my job, I did 12 million. And then the next year I did 22 million and then 30 million and then 40 million ultimately.
Wow.
So, and it was all because of social media.
That's amazing. So let's go back. You said you had a 9 to 5 while doing all this?
First 2 years.
So what were you doing before real estate?
So very briefly out of college, I was a data analyst. I've always been very like analytical, kind of a numbers data nerd. So I was a data analyst at a marketing company, which is, like I mentioned, where I got exposure to real estate. And it's funny how like life works out, and those like you think it's a failure, but it ends up being like the reason why you're kind of where you're at. Because I ended up quitting that data analyst job, not because I wanted to go full-time real estate. And this was after like a year into real estate, not because I wanted to go full-time into real estate, but more because I had another job I thought I had locked in. So I quit my job at this company in Livonia with the hopes that an expectation that I was going to get this other job that I was referred to, overqualified for, but I kind of like was lackadaisical through like there was like this test I had to take, and I just didn't give myself enough time, didn't do as well as I should, and I didn't get the job. And so I was like, oh crap, like I got to figure this out. I had student loan bills, I had a car payment, I had all this stuff. And so it kind of forced me to like focus on real estate full time a little while and kind of revamp the strategies, figure out what works, what doesn't work. And the thing with real estate is you're only as busy as, you are, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like you can't like force having stuff to do in real estate unless you're prospecting 12 hours a day. And so I ended up ultimately going back and getting a business development job at a tech startup in Detroit,
Oh,
where I learned a ton from Brendan, who was my leader there, and ended up being a top performer there and started to make more money from real estate than I was making there after like a year of being at the tech company. And so ultimately I was just like, okay, I didn't need to take the next step at the tech company and like move to a new role and get a promotion or dive into real estate. So I had a conversation with the CEO and basically said, hey, here's what I would like to see with my career and when I would like to see it. And at a startup, you don't have the luxury of saying, oh, yeah, we'll promote you or we'll give you this or that.
yeah.
And so the conversation didn't go how I wanted it to. So a week later, I put in my 2 weeks. And when you're in a sales role, it's not 2 weeks. They're like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
So, and then it was just all in from there.
So where does this your analytical number, your brain, how your brain works here, because not everyone is into the numbers and the data and like, where does that come from?
So
Anything you can think of.
Oh, for sure. So I got extremely lucky in the parent department. My mom's got a finance degree. She is super analytical, like almost to like an annoying sense of like overanalyze, super risk averse, but like she's super smart, super analytical. So I get that from her. And then my dad's a writer. So I get like the creative side from him. So I got
love
really
that.
lucky in having kind of two opposites,
Yeah.
but I was thankfully kind of like absorbed both of those skill sets.
Yeah.
So I have both kind of sides of my brain, I guess, that work in different ways.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And, I was reading a little bit about, obviously, I've read your article many times, but you playing baseball, I do want to talk about that because I love that. And I'm sure, I don't know if you agree, but my boys play hockey. So I know with any kind of sport, the commitment, the drive, how do you feel that has helped your experience in baseball, playing at a college? How did that help you into your business and life right now?
Oh, I mean, that's a good question I haven't had an opportunity to talk about this a lot because the baseball thing. So like growing up from the time I was 8 years old, and this is like another testament to my parents, I was playing sports year round, like AAU basketball, travel baseball, football, from the time I could literally put on pads or put on cleats, whatever it was. And so I was so accustomed from the time I was a little kid until I literally was graduating college to having a full schedule. Like literally from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to sleep, I had stuff I had to go do. And so I graduated college and then didn't have school anymore and I didn't have sports anymore. All I had was 40 hours a week worth of work. And I would go home and be like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So I was like kind of like lost in a weird way. And I'm like, not a huge partier. So I'm not like, doing all that constantly. So I didn't really have like a vision for where my life was going. And so I always had the dream and vision of being an entrepreneur, just didn't know what I was going to do. So, but the sports kind of taught me the discipline, the kind of like the long-term reward of a lot of upfront work because that's just how sports are.
Right.
But more importantly, just like time management and like the logistics of being able to kind of figure out how to work your schedule in an effective way where you're as efficient as possible because I had to be my entire life because that was the only way that I could do well in school, still have somewhat of a social life, play college baseball and work. Like I had to work through college too. I didn't have like the luxury of being able to just kind of kick back and coast. So I was working, I did 3 internships between my end of my junior and senior year of college. So like I was always doing something.
And where'd you go to college?
I started at Saginaw Valley State and then I graduated from Madonna.
Oh,
so
nice. Okay.
Ended up transferring.
In Livonia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up transferring for baseball to Madonna and finished there.
Oh, cool. My daughter plays volleyball there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So great school. And the whole sport thing, that's the biggest thing I've noticed. I have twin boys that they played hockey on a travel team since they were 5. And the discipline, the time management, there's so many things with these travel sports that will benefit them, these kids throughout their whole life. So the parents that are out there that, they're so busy and they're dishing out all this money, it definitely is going to benefit your kids in the long run.
Oh yeah. I'm a huge advocate
that.
to sports. Like there's people that are like, don't force your kids into anything. I'm like, I can tell you right now, if boy or girl, I don't care. Like they're playing some organized sports, even if they're
Yeah.
not good, because it just like it teaches you so much about life and about discipline and about like listening to authority and your,
Right.
the people that, and if you're lucky, you get really good coaches and, you can learn stuff from them and just how to speak to people. And like my freshman football coach as a little tyke, like 9 years old,
Aw.
was a prison guard full time. So
Oh.
like learned the yes sir, no sir, just kind of like how to speak to people and still to this day talk like that,
Yeah.
So I think those are the things that sports kind of instills in you. And if you're competitive, that's just
Right.
another element to it as well, where if you can take that into your life, I mean, there's right and wrong places to be competitive, but
Yeah, right.
and when it comes to your career, I think competition is key.
Yeah. So Social House, you've had that for how long now? 5 years?
January 2019. So
2019.
6
So
years now.
six
This
years.
will be year 7.
And tell me about your locations. What's new? What's up and coming with Social House?
Yeah, we've had some exciting expansion the last like year and a half. We opened a office in Belleville.
Okay.
So Jessica Jones and James Morgan are our brokers out there. They're incredible. They were at a big brokerage for a number of years and had a team over there. And they actually were thinking about starting their own brokerage.
Oh.
But Social House was essentially what they would have started. So they were like, hey, why don't we just go partner with Erik and those guys? And they've been amazing. So we have our Plymouth office. We just opened our Belleville office. We just opened our Plymouth office about 2 months ago. So super pumped for that. That in theory should have been our first office. That's where all my work is.
That's where you're from.
That's where all my friends
area,
are. That's
right?
everything, right?
Yeah.
So, but it just took a while to find the right space.
Yeah.
So just opened our Plymouth office, and then we just added another amazing partner at Social House. His name's Nick Panozzi. He was.
That's right.
Yep,
I've seen him.
So Nick's awesome. He's a rock star. He was a broker owner for a number of years, super successful, did all the right things. And so we're actively looking we're going to be opening a space in like the Rochester, Auburn Hills, like that general vicinity sometime probably by the end of Q1. So
Love it.
Yeah, we're in the process of looking for a space out that way.
That's amazing. I love seeing your business grow and expand. And
thank you.
Yeah, it's exciting. And then personally, if you want to talk personally, what's going on new in your personal life?
Yeah, just got engaged over the summer. Thank you. Yeah, Kayla and I have been together for like almost 3 years now. 3 years in like April, I want to say. Should probably get that right. I think it's April 2nd. But so I've been together for 3 years, and yeah, just got engaged out in Banff in Calgary in June. So yeah, we're in the process of like trying to figure out what we want to do wedding wise, and she's super low maintenance and low key about that, so that's nice.
That's nice.
But just figuring out the logistics and everything. We're looking for a house right now too.
Oh, that's exciting.
Moving out closer to the Northville area. Northville, Plymouth.
And you have a dog?
2.
Yeah. Okay.
So Summer and Noodle. So we have 2 miniature dachshunds, 2 wiener dogs.
Cute.
So never in a million years would have thought I'd be a
dog
father
dad
of 2 tiny dogs, but she talked me into the first one, and Noodle like doesn't leave my side. So Summer, the little girl that we just got about a year ago, she just turned a year at the end of December. We just got her, and like it's crazy. I want another one now. So.
And then, I just want to give a shout out to your fiance because I saw she just launched a new business as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to mention that, might as well give her a little shout out.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, she moved here not knowing anybody.
Oh, really?
Her and I met down in Dallas.
Oh, wow.
And so I somehow convinced her to move up here after dating for like 2 months. I was like, we were long term. I was like, or long distance. I was like, listen, this long distance I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not going to be good at that. And so I was like, if you want to move up here, just do it and let's just try it. And so, and I say all that to say, like, she got into Pilates and instantly just started crushing it. And so she was operating out of Birmingham for a while, just running it under her own brand, just kind of renting a space from somebody. And January 2nd, I believe it was first week of January, she just launched her new studio in Northville called Tone It Pilates. Nice. So, but she's incredible at what she does. So super excited for her to be starting that. And
congratulations.
Got a lot of entrepreneurs in the household. So
yeah,
I'm all for it. I love starting and building brands. So.
Well, and speaking of other brands, you have Social House News.
Yep.
So tell everyone about that.
Yeah. So I'm really lucky that I get to work with like my family in different respects. So my dad, Ed, he was at the Detroit Free Press and Observer for like 15 to 20 years. He's been a writer forever. And I saw kind of a gap in local news where there just wasn't a whole lot that was majority positive stuff. It was like predominantly just negative, like so-and-so died or this bad thing happened. And it was just so depressing. And like social media is kind of that way a lot now too. So we had this idea, and he was kind of burnt out at his position at that job too, where he's like constantly told, no, you can't write about this, you can't write about that. So we just had this idea like, hey, I think there's a gap in this market to go start a good news only local news company where we just spotlight people in the community doing good things, new businesses. You know, like one of our most popular like stories that he writes all the time are like people locally that win lottery, like win like scratch offs to win $1 million, whatever, like those things blow up, but it's just positive news. And so we started that like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I think 3 years ago. But he's been crushing it. Like he gets in front of more people on social media with his reels than I do. And he's 60, he just turned 63. What's this? On the 15th, so 2 days ago.
That was my dad's birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's 83.
Oh, okay.
But, you know.
That's
awesome.
Sorry, 64, not 63. But so he's 64, and he absolutely crushes it on Instagram because he'll go to all these games. He was a sports writer for a number of those years, and he goes to all these like high school games and little league games and posts a few reels, and he gets in front of like 500,000 people a month on Instagram.
Wow.
So it's amazing, you know, and then the website gets in front of another 100,000 plus. So like he's just crushing it. And at least to my knowledge, enjoys what he's doing because I pretty much just let him do his thing. I don't tell him, hey, we have to have this many articles or you have to write about this. It's just whatever you want to do it. And it's worked really well.
So real quick on that, how does someone, get on that social news? If someone has a hot, happy, like a business positive story. Because by the way, I haven't watched the news in, I'm not kidding, years. If there's something serious going on, my mom will call me. She'll say, I know you don't watch the news, so you need to know about this. But yeah, how does someone spread the good news?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, if you know me, just DM me or text me. That's one of the easiest ways. If you don't know me, you can still DM me, but you can also just reach out on I think our Instagram handle is socialhouse.news. Okay. I should know that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So you can just go on there, shoot a DM. My dad is on that page pretty consistently. So if you ever do have an idea, you can always reach out to us. Okay. Or if you open a new business and like this isn't for like lenders and realtors, a full disclosure, like I have a business I've never written a story about my real estate business on that at all. It's more for, actual local businesses like real producers, or things of that sense. Okay. So yeah, if you do ever have an idea, a positive idea, or just a new business opening or want your business spotlighted, we're always looking for new ideas.
So any other new horizons, any other new adventures for Erik Wright coming up in the future?
Good question.
What's 2026 looking like?
Aside from getting married, nothing crazy. I mean, the market's finally starting to pick up a little bit, so that's been nice.
Rates got a little lower, I saw.
Yeah, so I think like in 2025, our goal at Social House was actually not to add more agents, as crazy as that sounds. And we still did add a few, but like our biggest focus in 2025 was make sure the agents at our brokerage are succeeding.
I love that.
So we got it to where our average production per agent in 2025 was 2.9 million in sales, which if you look across the board is pretty significant. So now that we've kind of gotten the systems all nailed down, we have an amazing leadership team now. Now in 2026, our goal is to really start to grow and expand, hence the new offices. So now we have we know what we have works, and our systems are bar none, in my opinion, and our support, to where now we're ready to just start bringing on more top producing agents that can help us not only grow their brand, but help us grow the Social House name too. So really just focused on that. Got back into snowboarding last year. So we got some ski trips planned, but other than that, just the work.
Where's your favorite place to go?
Boyne. We're going to Boyne in a few weeks. So I'm not I've never been out to Utah or Denver or anything like that.
Banff. You said Banff.
Yeah, I didn't ski out there, but yeah. So definitely would like to. Kayla's just kind of getting into skiing. So I think once we're both maybe, I can go up and down the mountain, no problem. I can carve and all that stuff, but I'm not going off jumps or anything. But I think once we're both maybe a little better, maybe we'll venture out to, Aspen or something. I don't know.
Well, I think that says a lot about you for a girl to move to Detroit from Dallas.
I got her in it was springtime. If it was middle of the summer, it might not have been as easy, but
Well, I think that's pretty special. So
Yeah.
I wish you guys the best.
No, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. So
Aw.
yeah, I'm lucky.
Oh, I love it. So let me go back to real quick about, you mentioned Gary Vee.
Mhm.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how he has inspired you or anyone else in your life that has inspired you to get to where you are today.
Yeah, I think I've never been one to like say I have like a hero, so to speak.
Yeah.
But like there's certain people that I've always followed very closely and just kind of like seen how they go about doing things. Like my parents being one, just in terms of just how to carry myself, how to treat people. I think my parents both have like incredible reputations in the community, just being like overly nice people,
Yeah.
which so like I try to kind of exemplify that myself. And where Gary really came in was more so on just like the guy's like a psychic. Like I don't know who has
Yeah.
followed him as long as I have. Like I came across him in 2011. So it was
Wow.
before I even graduated college. But in 2011 I saw this Inc. keynote speech that he was giving. And what he was talking about wasn't just social media, because it was still pretty early for social media, but social media did exist,
Mm.
like YouTube and all these other platforms. And he was more importantly talking about attention is going to be the most valuable commodity in the world 10 years from now.
Mm.
And he was right. But what kind of everything you said in this keynote to me, I was just like, that just makes way too much sense. Like I was already glued to my phone all the time. I was probably iPhone like 6 at that time. I don't know. But I was already glued to my phone, and I was like, I saw everybody else glued to their phone. And I'm like, this has got to be where it's going. And so what I started to do was just teach myself everything I could about the social platforms that existed at the time.
Mhm.
I think like it was like Vine, Instagram, Facebook, but like all those, like Facebook had either just bought Instagram or hadn't even bought Instagram yet. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But needless to say, I just self-taught everything I could about those different platforms, not knowing how I was going to use it yet. But
Mm.
like I said earlier, I wanted to be an entrepreneur at some point, so I knew it would be important. And then that's when I got introduced to real estate, and I realized that the average agent was my parents' age. At the time they were in their mid
Yeah.
50s, and like the average agent in Michigan was literally like 52 years old in 2014. And no fault of that generation, but they didn't grow up with Facebook, Instagram, cell phones in the way that
Right.
I did. And so that's why this industry really hasn't changed or innovated at all. So Gary
Mm.
was kind of the one that like sparked the curiosity more than anything.
Yeah.
And then also just throughout the decade, 10 to 15 years of like following him, he's always doing what I try to do for our agents. He's always being the guinea pig and trying new things and trying to identify what's next and how to implement that. And then at the end of the day, business is business. I don't care if you're in real estate, if you're selling coffee mugs, or if you're selling cars. Like social media, if there's a human being on the other end of the purchase, you can leverage social media in some capacity.
So what do you see for the future, where things are headed as far as with social media, that next big thing?
Yeah,
Any thoughts on that?
I mean, what we're doing right now is one of the pieces of evolution, right? The podcast, the video content, people getting more comfortable talking on camera, I think is one of the biggest ones, because ironically, what I did to start my business with like paid listing ads on Facebook and boosting those ads and advertising other agents' listings as well as my own, that was how I got into this business and how I really started to grow. That doesn't necessarily work anymore. So what I've done over the last 2 years, and this has been kind of a long process to figure out what's next, is really dissect and evaluate, like, why did those ads work? And then how can I create a more tiered system that's just not exclusively focused on one avenue, meaning the listing ads, that kind of breaks it up into 4 to 6 pieces. And so
Yeah.
that's what I've been able to do, is really kind of dissect that initial strategy and then create a 2026 version where now it's like this type of content, me talking, but also coupled with like I'm filming listing video tours of people's listings. I'm actually going out and filming those myself, which is mutually beneficial, gets their listing in front of more people, helps them sell it, gives me good content on my page. So, and also builds trust with consumers seeing me active in
100%.
those markets. So that, and then like something I call a billboard ad, which I run 365 days a year on Facebook. I switch up the graphic every 90 days.
Okay.
Just think like a billboard that you drive by on 696, but it's on social media. So it's not an actual billboard, but just for
Definitely.
brand recognition and just being in front of people consistently, which was the biggest advantage of those listing ads, was that They were in front. You couldn't avoid me. Like if you were on Facebook and you
Mhm.
lived in any of those markets I was advertising in, because
Yeah.
this was pre like the targeting restrictions. Like now you were kind of restricted on how you can target for real estate.
Yeah.
At that time, I could target married college graduates between this age group and these cities, and like it was super super honed in. So you couldn't really avoid me if you met those demographics.
Mhm.
So like that was really the biggest benefit is people didn't even read enough to realize those weren't my listings. So a
Mm.
lot of people would see those and be like, "Oh, Eric's selling 10 homes a week," which obviously isn't even feasible, but like
Mm.
that was kind of the idea that people had in their head. So even though I looked like a kid, like I didn't have a beard, I
Yeah.
was clean shaven, everything. And so like even though I looked really young, they still had this trust because they saw me posting homes
Mhm.
so frequently. And that's kind of the same idea as like the listing ads and then the billboard ad. And, there's multiple other different pieces to it as well. But
Yeah.
that's kind of, I think, where it's going is just really getting yourself out of the comfort zone of not being on camera, force yourself to be on camera. Don't focus so much on the views and focus more on the quality of who's watching it,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of people get caught up and stop posting because their videos are only getting 400 views, but still 400 sets of
Yeah.
eyeballs
It's
that are,
about being consistent.
yeah. Because like
Yeah.
now from the strategy I've been doing the last 2 years, I get DMs literally on a weekly basis setting up listing appointments or buyer consultations.
I love
And the
that.
best part about it is it doesn't really cost me anything except a little bit of time.
Right.
Whereas those Facebook ads, I was spending at one point like 15 to 20 grand a month.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
now I'm able to get pretty similar results in terms of like volume coming in,
Mhm.
but I'm not having to pay anything. But yeah, so like now I'm not having to spend any money on it, but I'm still getting this same exposure, same results. It requires more time. It's not like a set it and forget it. But
Right.
also I think one of the biggest pitfalls is like most people try to find the lowest effort tasks
Mm.
they can do just to say they're doing it. When it
Oh.
comes to social media, like it's like, all right, if I just post this BS graphic that I got off Canva, like I'm satisfying my social media quota for the day.
Mm-mm.
When in reality, there's a direct correlation between the effort it takes to put into the content in terms of like how many views and how much exposure and engagement it's
Mhm.
going to get. If it's a really low effort video, don't expect very high results.
Right.
If it's a high effort video, you still may not get results. That's the
Mhm.
caveat, but there's a higher likelihood that you will if it does require some effort, some time, better
Mhm.
editing, better quality audio, those types of things. So,
Yeah. And you have a team that helps you with your social media?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I edit all my own like all those listing videos and everything just because
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Mhm.
But for our agents, we have a full time video editor, and then we have
Yeah.
like our ads manager is his title, where he
Okay.
basically posts all the just listed, just sold, under contract, listing
Mhm.
videos, the whole nine.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I talk with, with what I do with real producers, and I really talk to our partners about building your brand,
Mhm,
because it's not just about putting an ad in our magazine. That's like one piece of it, right?
mhm,
People see your ad, they see your face in there, then they meet you at an event, they're seeing you there, then they're seeing you on social media. It's all these little touches that keep you top of mind.
mhm.
And that's like you said, you have that billboard on Facebook, and people are seeing you all the time. They're seeing your ads, they're seeing content, and you want to. That's people. They want to see your. That's your brand is you.
Right.
That's my point. I'm trying to get across here.
Mhm,
But with building your brand, if anyone out there, one of the best investments I made was hiring a social media team.
mhm,
Back in May, I brought on Real Leverage Solutions, and they put out 4 posts a week for me on all my social media platforms. But we do videos, we do content. It's not the graphics.
yeah.
It's the
Mhm,
stuff people want to watch, the reels.
right.
Some are funny, some are serious, some are educational, and some are testimonials of people that we work with. But for those out there, you don't have to do it all by yourself. There's people that'll help you. So I know, like for me, I have the social media team. I have another person on my team that does social media, and I do stuff myself.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can never have enough
Yeah. I think
of that.
everybody on the planet usually has one of two things. They either have money or they have time, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So if you have money, maybe your time is a little more limited, so it makes sense to hire a team. Whereas if you have time, there was an Elon Musk interview or something I was watching the other day, and he was talking about how like college now is really just in school in general is just to show that you can accomplish a task. Like, it's not for learning anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're going in there learning a bunch of BS 90% of the time. He was like, ultimately, you can go learn anything you want now on YouTube. Like, you can become an expert in rocket science. Like, he taught himself rocket science. He's an anomaly. So not saying anybody can go do that, but it's not hard to go learn how to do everything I do, for example. Like, none of it's hard. It takes effort. It takes some time.
Right.
But I would suggest to everybody, there's so much value in doing it yourself because you do learn how to do it. And it's really just about not trying to be a copycat of like trying to just say, okay, I'm going to copy verbatim what this person said in this video, but instead be authentic. Like, that's the biggest key. I think that's a big catalyst to why I've been lucky enough to be successful, is that my brand hasn't changed. Like we talked about before we started the podcast, like in 2019, I was wearing a black t-shirt and jeans on the cover of the magazine, probably one of the first people that didn't have a suit and tie on.
Right.
But it's like, that's who I've been since day one. Yeah. And I have not deviated from that at all. And so when you can build up a brand and be authentic through social media and just be yourself and be comfortable being yourself, that goes a long way, because people that are consuming that content, the authenticity is going to shine through. It's very easy and obvious to tell when somebody's just BSing you. Like when somebody's in a suit and tie because they feel like they have to be, when you know that that's not who they are, you know, and when in reality you can just kind of be yourself and be authentic to who you are, and just trust that people that are like you are going to then in turn want to work with you. Yeah. And then if you do that consistently, that's what a brand is, where, you know, you're just being yourself.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on this episode today, and
appreciate you having me.
Yeah, Social House Group, Erik Wright, and I'm excited to see you grow.
Thank you.
Keep us updated when you open up your new office in the Rochester, Auburn Hills area. It's out my way. And how can people get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Yeah, the easiest way is probably social media. Whether it's just adding me on Facebook or Instagram. I think my handle is, God, I should know these things.
You have like 5 different pages, which is really smart, I think.
It's Erik_Social House is my Instagram. And then Social House Group is our Social House Instagram. So any of those, if you're looking for a new brokerage or anything like that, just hit me up. We're always looking for good people.
All right. Well, reach out to Erik and check him out on social media. And this episode is again proudly sponsored by DFCU Financial, a trusted credit union serving members in both Michigan and Florida. And for 75 years, DFCU Financial has been there for life's biggest moments, like finding the place you'll finally call home. With competitive mortgage rates, service, specialty programs, and an in-house title agency, DFCU is the only mortgage partner you need. Plus, through their unique cashback program, DFCU has returned more than $500 million to their members and communities over the last 20 years. So bring your mortgage to DFCU and get your share today. Learn more at dfcufinancial.com. And thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us on Beyond the Bio. If today's conversation resonated with you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. You can watch the full episode on YouTube or listen wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Apple Music. And if you want more behind-the-scenes content, clips, and updates, be sure to follow us on social media. You can also learn more, connect with me, and explore everything we're building at TaraTheConnector.com. Thanks again for being here. And remember, success isn't just what you do, it's who you are beyond the bio.